Welcome back, adventurers! Today, we'll be wrapping up our night's journey and putting all the pieces together for our final playthrough. So far, combat in our game has been a bit random, right? But we can make it more strategic by adding specific stats for our enemies and weapons. Let's walk through the process of turning our combat into something more exciting. First, let's add a bit more depth to our enemies. Currently, every fight is the same. But if each enemy has their own health and weapons, combat will become more interesting. Let's start by creating an enemies dictionary. For now, we'll add just one enemy, the goblin. We'll give the goblin its own health and weapon, so that each battle has its own unique challenge. Now that we have an enemy with health and a weapon, we need to assign damage values to the weapons. Let's create another dictionary called All Weapons, where each weapon has its own damage value. This will allow us to introduce different weapons and their effects as we expand the game. With our enemies and weapons in place, let's improve the combat loop. Instead of an one-hit battle, we'll set up a loop where both the knight and the enemy keep fighting until one of their health values hits 0. This makes combat more dynamic, allowing for a back and forth exchange of blows. When we encounter an enemy, we first set the enemy's stats based on our enemy's dictionary. Then, in each round of combat, we decrease the knight's health by the enemy's weapon damage and decrease the enemy's health by the damage of the knight's weapon. So now, combat becomes more exciting. You'll see each battle play out round by round, with health dropping on both sides until one reaches 0. If you win, you'll be rewarded with 20 gold. However, if you lose all your health, the game ends with the knight's death. And don't worry, you'll always have the option to flee if a battle seems too dangerous. Remember, if you flee, you lose 25 gold as the price for retreating. Next, we should make exploring the world more balanced. Right now, encounters are equally likely to be anything, but let's change that. Fighting should happen more frequently than finding treasures or items. To do this, we'll create a weighted list called Encounter List, where we control the chances of different events happening based on their frequency. But what exactly is a weighted list? It's a way to control the chances of different events happening in the game world. By adding enemy more often to the list and having treasure and item appear fewer times, we will find enemies more often, while treasure and items less often. This creates a gameplay experience that's more focused on combat. At the same time, we still maintain the excitement of occasionally stumbling upon a special item or treasure. This technique allows us to easily adjust the frequency of different events, making the game feel more balanced and engaging as you explore and take on new challenges. Let's play through a full session to see how all the pieces fit together. Our knight will face enemies, collect treasures, and try to survive the adventure. The choices made will impact the game's outcome, demonstrating the power of combining all these Python concepts. While you play, start thinking how you can implement new features. For example, how would you add more weapons? How would you make different enemies appear? Maybe you can add a new start. You can add different types of challenges. You can even add NPCs you can interact with. What about a store where you can spend gold and sell items? Or even a mechanic for when you rest, you lose some gold, or you need a specific item. And there you have it, brave knights of Python. We've covered a lot of ground today, building a text-based adventure that not only gave life to a courageous character, but also helped us reinforce the key concepts of Python. Variables, loops, conditionals, functions, and data types. This project brought everything we've learned together, creating an exciting adventure right in the terminal. Now it's your turn to take this basic framework and make it your own. Add new challenges, different types of enemies, or even new events like discovering hidden quests. The possibilities are endless, and the more you practice, the stronger your coding skills will become. And with that, Python 101 is truly over. It has been an incredible journey going over all these subjects with you, and I hope that you now have the foundational knowledge you need to excel in your programming future. But don't worry, there's a lot more to come, from diving into more advanced Python topics to exploring a full local development environment. Our adventures in coding have just begun. If you enjoyed this project, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on the next adventure. Share your thoughts, ideas, or any coding questions you have in the comments. I'd love to hear how you're expanding on this game. Happy coding, and I'll see you in the next dimension.